How's your high school crush doing? Good, she's watching TV RN, luckily she hasn't seen me in the window yet. As long as you're not naked and jerking, otherwise it will be weird. She was my crush since 5th grade. We went to middle school, high school, and college together. 3 years ago, I asked her out on a date. Yesterday, I asked her to marry me. She said no, both times. Dude, don't leave me hanging like that. What else happened? Happily married, I hope. Since it's with me. Aw damn. Watching TV in our room. We reconnected almost 20 years after high school. I'm planning on proposing next month. Bruh. Update when able. She's dead. OD'd on heroin, same as 15% of my graduating class. Shoot your local heroin dealer. You know what that gets you? A new H dealer in about 12 hours. No idea, and that is how it should be. Move on, took me too long to realize that. Yeah, life isn't high school forever. She's going to university to be a vet, really proud of her because I know she used to doubt herself. This is wholesome.
Redditors, what is the most fucked up thing you have ever done? There was a kid who had cerebral palsy in high school who would hit on my sister all the time. Granted, he didn't have a chance, fucked up in itself to say, but he was a dick. He would use his disability as a crutch to be a perverted asshole. One time he asked her to help him adjust his chair's seatbelt, just to pull down her shirt, exposing her breasts to the class. He thought it was hilarious. The school administration didn't do anything about it. So my friend and I forged a letter saying we were his parents picking him up after school, so he wouldn't get on the bus. We beat the shit out of him in the parking lot. Yes, I got in legal trouble.
What ingredient ruins a sandwich for you? Soggy, not fresh tomato. Looking at you, Subway, I used to think I hated tomato. Turns out I just hate crappy tomato. Standing with both feet in the lettuce bins with shoes on. Burger King foot lettuce. Huge pieces of meat that when I bite, instead of cutting and eating a piece, I eat the whole thing and the rest of the sandwich is left meatless. Razor thin shaved meat is where it's at for a good sandwich. More surface area means more flavor and better mouthfeel. A piece of lettuce that's a little too brown. Or the lettuce piece that's a bit slimy, sends me right to Gagsville. Soft, cheap bread that gets soggy with the slightest bit of moisture. This is the one thing that will make me reject a sandwich with revulsion. Don't mind soggy bread, but I cannot stand hard bread that scrapes your gums, and is more brittle than a cracker. American cheese, it's fine on burgers, but for a typical sandwich, no, get that crap out of there and give me some real friggin' cheese. Unless making a grilled cheese, I can't handle the crappy white bread that mushes to the roof of your mouth, nasty and can't hold anything together. Grilled cheese is the exception because the toast once holds everything together and eliminated the mush.
What fanbase genuinely scares you? People who are horny for serial killers like Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy. My mom's ex-husband tried to take her life and his own. She survived, and after his death she saw on his Facebook many Facebook friend requests and messages of women wanting him. It's unreal. Some of the craziest people I have ever met were in the knitting community. Anyone who is too patriotic, doesn't matter what country, it's weird everywhere. Andrew Tate, he's creating future problems. He's as well going to be responsible for a series of videos about a decade from now, how I left the Andrew Tate pipeline. I lived through the Hanson years, nothing can scare me.
Am I the jerk for convincing a guy who likes me to ask me to homecoming and then saying no in front of the entire school? I just wanted a wholesome homecoming and my friend is really nice. I would never date him, but since he's been so in love with me for a year, I decided to reward him and kept hinting that he should ask me. But then I forgot about that. Aaron, the football quarterback, asked me after last Friday's game. So on Monday at school my friend had this really cute thing at an assembly where all his friends held a letter of homecoming, and he came out playing guitar and singing our favorite song. It was great, but I said sorry Kyle. But no, am I the jerk? When have you met someone who was pure evil? My aunt. And the worst part about it is that she was so good at pretending that very few people were able to recognize her for the person she truly was. I remember being 4 years old and going through a rough patch with my family. My mom had 3 kids and she had recently lost her job. My aunt was an educator and was well off. She lived close by. One night we had nothing to eat and my mom reached out to her for help. This horrible excuse for a human being filled a sack with dirt soil, and gave it to my sister to bring it to my mom. Imagine the joy that my mom felt when she saw my sister coming through the door with what she thought was a bag of groceries. Now imagine her disappointment when she opened the sack and saw that soil. Even though my mother forgave her, I never did. At that young age I vowed that I would be successful in life. I promised myself that my mother would never want for anything as long as I am alive.
If you use hitting as punishment for your children, why? I've been hit once by my dad for kicking the dog really hard out of rage as a child. I'm not saying it's right, but I'd have done the same. Never hurt an animal since. What's the meme? If your child is old enough to understand why you're hitting them, then explain it to them and don't hit them. If your child is not old enough to understand why you're hitting them, then don't hit them. He doesn't hit them, but my friend makes his kids run laps in the backyard if they're being bad.
What are some common signs that someone grew up with shitty parents? Emotional numbness, especially in the face of bad things. Once you've seen enough shit, certain things just don't faze you anymore. Having no desire to see them. Mom dropped me off at 14 across the USA with no money or place to live. Then didn't talk to me for 6 years. Wonders why I won't speak with her after she threatened to shoot me for getting 2 extra pieces of firewood than she told me I could have. You remember being severely neglected, yet you were told you were spoiled. Paranoia, the inability to trust others and obsessively overthinking every conversation they have. Also, speaking from a personal perspective, people that grew up with toxic parents continue to question their sanity and reality here and there from the continuous gaslighting. They don't understand simple gestures of kindness. Took my husband a long time to understand that my parents liked giving little gifts to people and doing things for them. That they weren't trying to insult him or us or make us feel incompetent, they were just showing affection. Why is nobody mentioning the silent footsteps? When you grow up with parents that would yell at you for existing, you develop the ability to hide your presence as much as possible and always try to keep your noise and visibility to a minimum. Plus, the ability to tell who's coming and how much trouble you're in by the way their footsteps sound. They go out of their way to please people. They can't take compliments because they're so used to being put down. They flinch if they hear someone raise their voice or loud noises.